What's going on, guys? FadeitLuie here, bring guys a brand new video. We're gonna be doing a mid fade on my boy, so stay tuned. We started off by saturating the top and making sure our canvas is nice and neat. We also separated the top from the sides. We're then gonna move on to our gold FX and create our first guideline contouring to his head shape. You always wanna make sure you contour this guideline to their head shape so that the fade can flow better. Now that we're done balding them out, we can move on to our no guard all the way open and create our second guideline. You want to make your second guideline around 1 inch thick so you can spread the blend. We're then going to slightly close the lever and begin to attack that initial guideline. You want to make sure to stretch the skin as much as possible with your opposite hand to give you more space to blend. Now that we're done erasing that initial guideline, we can move on to our 1 guard all the way open and create our third guideline. We're then going to use our comb to feed the hair into the clipper because it is getting pretty long. You're going to use this same guard and the lever to soften up this line and get ready for the half guard. Now that we're done softening up the line with the 1 guard, we can move on to the half guard and erase the line completely. Make sure to use your corners and stretch the skin when needed. I hope you guys are enjoying the video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you. Now we're moving on to our 2 guard all the way open and we're creating our 4th guideline. We're flicking out as much as possible once we're getting near the parietal ridge, and we're also feeding the hair into the clipper using our comb. We're going to use this same guard and the lever to soften up the line and get it ready for the 1.5 guard. Now that we're done softening up the line with the 2 guard, we can move on to 1.5 guard and erase the line completely. Sometimes after using the 1.5 guard, there's still a fade line, so switching over to your 1 guard all the way open would definitely help. Before we use our clipper over comb, we're going to debulk with the 3 guard all the way open, and we're going to repeat the same process we did with our 2 guard by flicking out and using our comb to feed the hair into the clipper. Now we're moving on to our clipper over comb method, and we're going to make sure the hair is nicely saturated before we do this, so it's easier to pick up with your comb. Once the hair is nice and saturated, we're going to begin by debulking with our horizontal cuts by picking up the hair with the comb and then sliding the clipper with the least amount of pressure as possible. Now that we're done with our clipper over comb, we're going back to our previous guards and we're going to detail as much as possible. detailing, your no guard all the way open and your one guard all the way open is going to be your best friend. Before we finish up the fade, we're going to connect the top to the sides to make sure we get any overhang. Now we're taking our clipper of a comb and we're making the fade as smooth as possible. Moving on to our Annis T outliners, we're going to start off at the bottom and work our way to the top arch using our corners, and we're also going to go as slow as possible because we're making sure the hair feeds into the trimmer. If you don't do this, the hair is going to move and shift and you're going to have a hard time getting a nice and crispy line. Moving on to the back, we're going to take our Babyliss and create our first guideline, contouring it to the back of his nape. Now we're using our no guard all the way open to create our second guideline. Remember, we're going to slightly close the lever and attack that initial guideline we created with our Babyliss. Now that we're done erasing our initial guideline, we can move on to our one guard all the way open and create our third guideline. Remember, we're going to use this same guard and a lever to soften up the line and get ready for our half guard. Now we're switching over to that half guard and we're going to erase the line completely. We are near the occipital bone, so you want to make sure you detail as much as possible. This is due to the high density of hair follicles that's in the back and also the occipital bone that's underneath the skin. Now we're using our two guard all the way open and we're creating our fourth guideline. Remember, you want to flick out as much as possible when you're getting near the silhouette. This is so you can leave weight and make the blend smooth. Now that we're done setting in the guideline and softening up the line with the two guard, we can move on to our 1.5 guard and erase the line completely. Remember, the occipital bone is right underneath this, so we're detailing as much as possible. Before we move on to our clipper over comb, we're going to use our 2 guard all the way open to detail a little bit more, and then use our 3 guard all the way open to debulk. You want to use a clipper over comb method near this area so you can leave more weight near the calic area. Before we move on to our shear work, we're going to make sure the hair is nice and saturated so we can get the true length of the hair follicle. Now that we're done saturating the hair, we can comb the hair out. This is so we can get any knots and tangled hair. Once we're done combing the hair out, we can start off by creating our first guideline at the top of the capitus and then follow the same guideline through the back and sides. You always want to show your clients the length you're going to cut off and make sure they're very comfortable with it. You want to make sure you follow the same guideline through the sides. This is so you don't have any fall away hairs. Again, I hope you guys are enjoying the video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. Also, if you made it this far into the video, leave a comment down below of my subscriber count, and I'm 100% gonna reply to it. Before we move on to our Turkish razor and Derby Premium blades, we're gonna lather up the skin with our Elegant Shave Gel. This is gonna help the blade glide better. Now that we're done lathering up the skin, we can move on to our Turkish razor and Derby Premium blades and make them as crispy as possible. When you're using the razor, you want to stretch the skin as much as possible with your opposite hand and keep the blade at a 45-degree angle. This is so you don't cut them. What's going on, guys? FadeitLuie here, bringing guys a brand new video. We're gonna be doing a mid-ball fade. We started off by saturating the hair and combing everything in place, making sure we have a nice and neat canvas. Now that we're done laying down the hair, we can move on to our gold FX and create our first guideline. You want to make sure you contour this guideline to the head shape so the fade could flow better. Before we use our foil shavers to remove the stubble, we're going to apply some shave sticks so he doesn't bump up. Now we're using our Babyliss foil shavers to remove the stubble, and you want to use your opposite hands to stretch the skin to give you more space. Now that we're done balding them out, we can move on to our no guard all the way open and create our second guideline. You want to make this guideline around 1 inch thick so you can spread the blend. We're then going to slightly close the lever, and this is going to help us erase that initial guideline. Now that we're done erasing our initial guideline, we can move on to our 1 guard all the way open and create our third guideline. We're then going to use this same guard and a lever to soften up the line and get it ready for the half guard. I hope you guys are enjoying the video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you. Now that we're done softening up the line with the 1 guard, we can move on to the half guard and erase the line completely. Now that we're done with our lower guards, we can move on to our 2 guard all the way open and create our 4th guideline. This is going to prepare us for our clipper of a comb. We're going to use this same guard and the lever to soften up the line and get it ready for the 1.5 guard. Since we're done softening up the line with the 2 guard, we can move on to the 1.5 guard and erase the line completely. Sometimes there's still a faint line after using the 1.5 guard, so switching over to your 1 guard all the way open and using its corners would definitely help. Now that we're done with our guards, we can move on to our clipper over comb method and begin to debulk the sides, connecting it to the top. You want to make sure the hair is a little bit damp so it's easier to pick up with your comb. When you're using clipper over comb, you want to make sure you pay attention to the distance and the density of hair when you're pulling your comb. As you can see, with my horizontal cuts, I'm debulking, and with my vertical cuts, I'm blending. detailing as much as possible with our previous guards. Here I'm switching over to the one guard all the way open just to attack that faint line the 1.5 guard leaves. Here we're using our clipper of a comb again just to make sure the fade is nice and smooth. Moving on to the back, we're starting off with our no guard all the way open and we're creating our second guideline. We're then going to slightly close the lever midway and all the way to attack that initial guideline and remove it completely. Now that we're done erasing that initial guideline, we can move on to the one guard all the way open and create our third guideline. We are right on top of the occipital bone, so you want to make sure you detail as much as possible. We're also going to use this same guard and the lever to soften up the line and get ready for the half guard. Now that the line is soft enough, we can move on to our half guard and erase the line completely. Remember, we are on the occipital bone, so you want to make sure you spend more time here. Since we're done with our lower guards, we can move on to our two guard all the way open and create our fourth guideline. We're then going to use the lever to soften up the line and get it ready for the 1.5 guard. Switching over to the 1.5 guard, we're going to attack this line and try to erase it completely. Sometimes there's still a faint line, so switching over to your one guard all the way open would definitely help you. Now we're moving on to our clipper over comb method and we're going to debulk the calic area. We want to leave as much weight as possible, so I'm making sure I sculpt the hair instead of going in with the guard. Before we use our shears, we're going to make sure we saturate the hair as much as possible so we could get the true length of the hair follicle. Now that the hair is nice and saturated, we're going to make sure we make our guideline as even as possible through the middle and work our way to the sides. When using your shears, you want to pick up the hair with your comb, feed it into your hands, and hold it as tight as possible while cutting it with your shears. Pre-work near the sides and calic area is very important because if not, then the hair will hang over. Before we line him up, we're gonna comb down all his baby hairs and then debulk them with the one guard all the way open. We're also using our clipper of a comb to debulk and make the fade as smooth as possible. Again, I hope you guys are enjoying the video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. Also, if you made it this far into the video, leave a comment on my subscriber count down below, and I'm 100% gonna reply to it. Now that we're done debulking the hairline, we're gonna go back to the side fade and detail as much as possible. Now that we're done detailing with our clipper of a comb, we can move back into the hairline and start off in the middle, working our way to the sides. You want to make sure not to press too hard because you could cut them with the teeth of the trimmer. Also, you want to make sure you go slow enough that the hair feeds into the teeth of the trimmer, because if not, then the hair is going to move and then you won't line them up properly. You also want to keep the corners and vertical bars as natural as possible, because if not, it won't look properly.